Consistency is often described as discipline. People talk about willpower, motivation, and personal strength. When someone shows up every day, the assumption is that they are highly disciplined. But when you observe real systems over time, this explanation becomes less convincing. Motivation is unstable. Energy changes. Focus fluctuates depending on context, mood, and fatigue. If consistency depended only on motivation, most long-term processes would collapse quickly. Yet some systems continue to operate with stability, even when motivation is low or absent. This suggests that consistency is not primarily a personality trait. It is more accurately described as an environmental outcome. When resistance is low, execution becomes easier. When execution is easy, repetition becomes possible. What appears as discipline from the outside often comes from a structure that removes friction. This distinction is subtle, but it changes how consistency should be understood. In this process, discipline was not actively applied. There were no rewards, no pressure, no external accountability. The system did not rely on motivation. What changed was the structure around the task. The activity remained the same every day. The timing remained the same. The sequence of actions never changed. There were no decisions to make before starting. Because of this, the task required very little mental effort. There was no moment of internal negotiation, no question about whether to act or not. The process simply existed and execution followed automatically. This removed the need for discipline entirely. Consistency emerged not because effort increased, but because resistance decreased. The system did not demand strength. It demanded compliance with a fixed structure. Over time, this produced stable repetition without relying on personal motivation. This observation reframes how consistency should be evaluated. Consistency is not something people force themselves into. It is something systems enable. When a process is well designed, it does not ask for willpower. It limits variation. It reduces optionality. It stabilizes execution paths. This is why many attempts at consistency fail. They rely on personal discipline instead of structural support. When discipline is the main driver, failure becomes inevitable over time. When design is the main driver, consistency becomes sustainable. What looks like discipline is often just a predictable environment doing its job. This is not about habits or motivation techniques. It is about how systems interact with human behavior. And when systems are designed correctly, consistency stops being a struggle and starts being a property of the process itself.